Hi, I'm Toby Richards-Carpenter, a legal director here in the corporate team at B2B Pitmans and a former motoring journalist, and I'm here to talk to you about our automotive practice. Back in the early to mid-noughties, when I was road testing cars for a living, the car industry still seemed relatively steady and predictable, operating on a typical conveyor belt of 6 or 7 year model cycles, with each new car being that little bit faster, safer and more refined, but ultimately the same as the one it replaced. All that's changed, of course, and there's never been a more exciting time to be working in, around and for the automotive sector. From our perspective here in the mid-2020s and looking towards the 2035 ban on the sale of new petrol and diesel engine cars, we're living in an age when the car industry and the wider automotive and mobility sector is rarely out of the headlines. The global climate change concerns which kick-started this revolution are of course underpinned by a raft of legislation which we at B2B Pitmans stand ready to advise on. Whilst some of this legislation can be seen as top-down and imposed by government policy, most obviously the 2035 ban that I mentioned, some of it can be seen as from the ground up. For example, the development of synthetic and e-fuels by car manufacturers has led to an exemption, in the EU at least, from the 2035 ban for cars that run exclusively on those fuels. And then there is the Automated Vehicles Bill, necessitated by the development of AI-enabled autonomous vehicle technology. Now, all of these developments in legislation and technology mean that there's a need for car manufacturers, suppliers, EV charging networks and other stakeholders in the industry to innovate to remain competitive. And that in turn means that there's a need to protect their legal interests, whether in the form of intellectual property rights, supply contracts, joint venture agreements, or possibly a corporate restructuring, or maybe just the need to take advice on what the law says. B2B Pitmans is here to unpick those legal issues for you, so if your automotive business requires any legal advice, please don't hesitate to get in touch.